What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 5 of the Christ and Culture podcast. I'm your favorite host that looks like a traffic cone, Cameron Prince, and today we're jumping into one of my favorite topics to talk about that is evident in every single day of my life, and that is music. And I'm sure you can already be thinking, like, from if you've watched all these other episodes, what I may be talking about regarding music is, can Christians listen to non-Christian music, to secular music? That's today's topic. But if it's your first time watching, I really would love for you to drop a comment and tell me what you think about this episode. And if you want to go back and watch all the other episodes, just click the channel. They're all available. And if you like them, hit the like button and subscribe to let me know that you want to see more episodes coming. Because really, this whole podcast has started from a project, and to keep it going after, I guess really the time is out to do so for the project, then hit that subscribe button so I can see support for this channel and for these conversations that we had. But right into the topic about music. Should Christians listen to secular music? I planned out this episode months ago before even filming the first episode of this whole podcast for this week, for this episode. And funny enough, when I wait to record it, it is the same week that Spotify Wrapped has dropped. And here's where you can, I bet when I told you my top 5, you're already going to know what my opinion is. Because number 1 is Forrest Frank. Probably a lot of people's number 1, because he drops a lot of music, a lot of good sounding music. And I'll talk about Forrest Frank a little bit later, just to get in my opinion on Christian music today, for what I think about it. And number 2 is Hulvey, who's a Christian rapper. I love Hulvey. I'm in his top 1% of listeners. I think one year he beat out Forrest Frank, and I was the top 0.01% of Hulvey listeners. So I listen to a lot of Hulvey. Love his stuff. Number 3 was Zach Bryan. So already can already tell what my opinion on listening to secular music is going to be. Number 4, I believe, was Skillet. And number 5 is the real kicker, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So by Zach Bryan and Red Hot Chili Peppers, for sure Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know where I'm going to probably stand on should Christians listen to secular music. And when kind of looking at people's opinions online and watching videos from popular Christian websites, I kind of actually have a new conviction about myself listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers. But the reason that I listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers, it will not be a great excuse probably for some people that are listening. And so for really to get us started, what's some of the pros for listening to Christian music? And so here's where my opinion comes in. I think it's okay for Christians to listen to secular music. And I know, and for some people, this may be a no duh kind of thing, but think about it. There's actually people out there, and probably more back in the 60s, 70s to 80s, that probably had harsher and more strict opinions on it than we do now. So probably the time that we live in is not as crazy strict about it, but at a time in the past, there once was, especially with legalism. Probably when it comes to music, legalism in the church probably invaded into what music we should listen to as well. And so my pros for listening to Christian music, secular music, is that, or I guess not pros, but reasons why, supporting wise. For the first thing, does the Bible ever condemn listening to music that is not strictly for the purpose of glorifying God? Does the Bible ever say that you should not listen to music solely for entertainment purposes, only for worship? And the answer is no. The Bible never says to only worship with music. There's a lot of verses that do. I can't think of the specific verse and book, but I know for sure in the New Testament that in the fellowship of believers, hymns. And they're like, listen to hymns, something, and spiritual songs. And I know some people are probably going to know what I'm talking about. And so, like, spiritual songs, glorifying God, worshiping, there's support right there for why you should only listen to Christian music. But let's think of uh sorry. I wrote it down here somewhere. Okay, 1 Corinthians 9:22 through 23. And not too long ago at my church that I serve at, I lead a group of 10th grade guys and try to disciple them. And one of our conversations that we had one Sunday night was, what music canon should we not listen to? Did I say that right? I have no idea what I just said. Our conversation was like, where do you draw the line on what music you can or should not listen to? I think that I just said the same thing twice. I don't know. Bear with me. And my opinion is really like, if the song does not straight up glorify the things that Christ died to cover, so like if Christ died for our sin and the music that we listen to glorifies the sin that we were once caught up in or caught in, and now depending on where you are with your walk in the Lord, if you don't have a relationship with Him yet, that's where I draw the line. But like, so growing up, by looking at me, you can obviously tell that one of my favorite artists was Justin Bieber. True story. My brothers and parents can confirm that. And a lot of those songs back in the day of like 2011, 2012, 2010, Justin Bieber, like The Baby, One Time, just like those era of songs. Let's think of My World, that the album that Baby is on. You have Baby, you have You Smile, you have, what else do you have? That Should Be Me. And then One Time. I can't really remember any other songs besides One Time off that EP, or album. I think it was an EP. But like a lot of those songs are really like love songs that don't really glorify a lot of the now sexual overtones of love songs that we have in the 2020s and obviously latter of the 2010s. If you ask me, those are okay to listen to. Thinking Out Loud about Ed Sheeran is a good example of the love songs. There's some rock songs, like Skillet, who's a Christian band. They obviously don't make like super gospel, like praise worship music, but there's definitely the Christian tones in their music. Same thing with like Switchfoot. Same thing with Creed and some of their songs. And a more modern example for probably contemporary is why back for let me just use the word like of today. Like bands would say that people my age, 22 or younger, teens to now, or for my age or maybe up into the 25, the 29, 30 range. There's this band called 21 Pilots who they claim to be Christians, and my conviction and from what I've seen is that they are believers, and especially with their recent song off their album called the album's called Breach, but there's a song called Downstairs, where there's a certain lyric where Tyler Joseph, the lead singer of 21 Pilots, says, "I want to be the one after your heart." And then there's other songs back in Blurry Face, which came out in 2015, like Doubt, The Judge, Heavy Dirty Soul. Like, I really love 21 Pilots. They're an example of like despite like them being Christians, their music super isn't worshipy. It's still very secular, if you ask me. And those things are not impure and immoral songs that they speak about. And another person I really like, I had a black cat up there that says "real," and for some of you, that's an NF reference. So NF is another rapper who has claimed to be Christian, who makes secular music. he's always said that he is a rapper that is Christian but not a Christian rapper. So he has Christian beliefs. He claims to be a Christian and makes secular music, and that still is not glorifying immoral things. And so all of those are just to say that for my line for what secular music you can listen to are just not the things that glorify the immoral. That's what I was telling my kids. And then there's another guy that leads this group with me who had it. We didn't talk about it before, which we probably should have. His opinion was like, yeah, my conviction is not to listen to any of that stuff, not to listen to any secular music, like only listen to worship music. And you know, what's great about being a Christian, about being in one of God's children, is that that's not an issue that's not going to separate us from our ultimate goal of achieving heaven. Like, we are still covered by Christ's blood despite our different opinions on music. And so for why I know, and what I was trying to say earlier to 1 Corinthians, is that listening to all those songs that are secular but that are pretty still in the range of pure and moral and good-hearted songs that don't celebrate sin, that allows you to really understand the culture that we're in. And so 1 Corinthians 9, the verse that I was talking about, have becomes all things to all people. It's just the whole idea. It's like you can't speak light into a world you refuse to understand. And a lot of music today points to what the culture is understood to be. And so listening to secular music, to me, I think is great. So, and it's just one of those things that's like, I'm bringing up the word legalism is like, just don't add rules that the Bible doesn't teach to strain someone down and cause them to stumble, because it's just as bad to cause another brother to stumble, another Christian brother to stumble, than it is for you to sin yourself. So what are like the cons why Christians should be careful with secular music and maybe just stick to Christian music? And like that's a whole conversation itself, is with your term of self-control. You need to guard your heart above all else. And like, obviously, if your music taste is leading you in your heart, if it's numbing your heart to conform to the patterns of this world, like Romans 12:2 says, do not conform to the patterns of this world. So if your music does conform, and it numbs your mind and your heart from resisting it, but then also from not resisting it to conforming, it's just that whole other thing I was saying earlier. If it celebrates what Jesus died for, it's a red flag. And so there's always just danger that even if you're not already living the mindset or the lifestyle of what these secular songs that are immoral say, it will still shape your mindset to accept it and to conform to it. And like, that's where you need to draw the line. And so desensitization to sin, like that's the whole thing. How it conforms your mind is telling you that it's okay, and that it's deceiving you and calling evil good. And so what's the example of the Bible of a musician? David. David, probably the most popular musician when it comes to biblical terms and what we read in the Bible. He obviously had a lot of worship songs, a lot of songs that glorified God. But when you think of King Saul, who needed interpretations for his dreams and stuff, I'm pretty sure that David probably used music, I think, to soothe Saul during all that trouble. And I may be wrong on that. Please comment and call me out on that. I saw a video that said something like that not too long before I started recording this, so that's what made me bring that up. But please call me out if I'm wrong. And so there's that. What me telling that story was is to say that there's even proofs in the Bible that of using music not to uh, worship God. It's to entertain in doing that. Uh, and so the biggest verse I think that I can just end these pros and cons about is Philippians 4:8 when it says like whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is etc. You know, I hope if you haven't read the verse, go read it and then continue back to this video. Uh, Obviously, God wants us to set our minds on the things that are holy and pure, lovely, and continue to meditate on those things. And if it's a song that fits that criteria but isn't a worship song, I think that's your guidelines right there. What I've been trying to say of like where to draw the line. Think of that. And so, like I said, I may sound like a hypocrite because earlier, here's where I'm getting into it. I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I listen to a lot of their songs, and I'm gonna give you an example of why I like their songs based on the instruments that I play. You can't see one of them right now because it's on my bed. I have an acoustic guitar, but if I move, this is inverted. I don't know how to do this. If you see right here, there's a bass. And sorry, I know from the last episode that was still there. Still waiting to graduate this Friday. I have a bass, and then there's my acoustic back there. I really like guitars, and one of my favorite tones to listen to in music is I'm a sucker for a good guitar song, and so Red Hot Chili Peppers, John Frusciante, on Stadium Arcade Stadium, one of the two. Sorry, I claim to be a fan, but I'm not a good fan. I'm not a big fan. I am not a diehard. I just like some of their songs. Whatever album Can't Stop came off of, and then I know the title of this album, but I'm not going to say it on here. That has Under the Bridge and Give It Away. Not saying that album. Don't look it up, kids. You know, I really like the guitar on that song. That's why I listen to him. The guitar riff up in it, bam, bam, on Can't Stop, really good. Under the Bridge, good guitar. Like these are just suckers for. I like the guitar on these songs and just the vibe and the groove of them all. Recently, I like John Mayer. John Mayer, I think, fits into the lovely, pure. Some of his songs definitely not, but a lot. The ones I listen to, I think, fall into the guidelines of pure and lovely, not glorifying immoral things. But you know, I have the conviction now to kind of stop listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers because a lot of their songs, especially music videos. I was watching one of their music videos yesterday, and I was not aware of some of the stuff they were doing in these music videos of these songs that I listened to. And so, you know, the music videos always bring an extra meaning of the artist, the song. And so, I may stop listening to them. I'm pretty sure my headphones just died on me, so I'm just gonna keep going anyways. And so, you know, I want to follow the same guidelines that I'm speaking on here, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, keep in check, guard your heart, keep in mind of what the Bible says about music and those guidelines. And so, and my take on Christian music today is that, like I said, Forrest Frank and Hovey. And here's my hot take on Forrest Frank, is that he kind of needs to chill out. He's releasing a lot of songs that, even though I'm kind of starting to like him less musically wise and somewhat personal wise, I would still not tell anybody to stop listening to him. I'm just like, that's my personal opinion. Musically wise, because every song is starting to sound the same, and so I'm not adding a lot of his new stuff to my playlist anymore. Like the Lemonade song. He's about to drop a new album with Jake, a Christmas song. That's probably gonna sound exactly like all of his other songs, but now just Christmassy. But still, not discourage you from to stop listening to him. But personal wise, there's the whole thing with Forrest breaking his back, uh, obviously hated that happened to him and bedridden. But then he comes out and makes a song called "God's Got My Back," and the cover of the song is a skateboard. And if you've never heard about Forrest Frank breaking his back, he was skateboarding on his driveway, I'm pretty sure, and then took a tumble and fell on his back, broke it or hurt it, um, really bad. And he comes out with the song "God's Got My Back" with a skateboard. So obviously, the song obviously has to do with the idea that he broke his back, and kind of corny, if you ask me. But it was still a good song. I still have it on my playlist. I'll listen to it if it comes on, probably. Um, but a couple weeks later, another popular Christian artist, Crowder, comes out and says that he hurt his hand or something like that. Or maybe his leg. No, yeah, it was like his foot or something, because then him and Forrest Frank made a song called like "Standing on the Rock" or something. And so another kind of corny reference to an injury that they had. And still not a problem with it, like cool. But where my problem came in is when Corey Asbury, who's one of my favorite Christian artists, uh, so this is not like me hating on Forrest Frank because he dissed one of my favorite Christian artists. It's just like the whole idea. Well, Corey Asbury comes out with this video, kind of parody of what Forrest Frank and Crowder did, and comes up with his own kind of like fake injury and makes a bad song about it. It's just literally a parody of what Forrest Frank did. And Forrest Frank comes out and says he doesn't appreciate it, and that Christians need to work through misunderstandings, and that he's basically kind of like inferring, the vibe I got from his response video was that, yo, Corey Asbury, you need to repent, bro, for that video. But like, it's all fun. It's all fun and games. Like, I watched it all, and then I didn't think twice about it being like a serious thing. A call out to Forrest Frank and like, hey, stop making these corny videos about injuries. Like, instead, Corey's just playing a joke on it. Well, then Corey Asbury has like the whole "I'm sorry, didn't realize" thing, and then and then like, it's weird for them to have that, and then they come out with their own song too, called "Misunderstanding," and it was just not a thing to me that I think Forrest Frank should have done just for everybody to see. Like, he should have. I'm pretty sure he did like DM Corey Asbury first before they made this video. But like, to make a video about it, to me, it all just like kind of inevitably was going to be this thing where they came out with the song. Like, everybody knew that was coming. And then and I just thought that was like really just like, I didn't like the whole vibe of how public it was. And the second thing was Forrest Frank coming out with his take about the Dove Award, saying, I'm not going to receive an award. Like, he was saying his conviction was that he wasn't going to receive a reward that's for God, from a gift that God has given him, which totally understand that. But, a lot of other people are going to go to these Dove Awards and not have the same conviction. And so it's like, you're kind of telling them in public again that, like, hey, what you're doing, I don't agree with. And it's like, if you're making it that public, what else is your objective? Like, what else is the objective to post that? Because, like, if you have the conviction that you don't want to go, you don't like the heart of the Dove Awards for yourself personally, then don't go. Like, not everybody is going to respond to that with all like, oh yeah, I totally understand, that's like cool and all. Like, no, a lot of people are going to be like, why, like, then is it bad for me to go? Like, it's just not going to unite people. And the Bible talks so much about unity in the church, and that was just not a video that ever was going to like unify anything. If it was literally only going to be divisive. And I was like, Forrest Frank, what are you doing? And you have Jelly Roll, who's now a Christian artist apparently, commenting in his video saying, oh, you don't want to take an award, but you're perfectly fine with how much money you earn from concerts. And these $100 hoodies that you're selling, which is insane that Forrest Frank is selling $100 hoodies. I think it's insane if anybody sold $100 hoodies. It's not just Forrest Frank, him doing it. But Forrest Frank responded to Jill Roll by saying, you have no idea how much of my money I keep, which was the best response Forrest Frank could have gave. Because if that's the truth, pretty sure Forrest Frank said in the video, you have no idea how much money I give away, but it's in between 10 and 90% of my money I give away, which is like, way to go, bro. Like, solid, great guy. That's how you serve the Lord and be gracious with and with your stewards, with the stewardship that he's given you. And so, yeah. So like Forrest Frank, I'm not listening to him much as him anymore, but still not a discourager for you to like not stop or to stop listening to him. Like, keep listening to him if you love him. But just like I'll give you kind of who I do like listening to. I'm gonna pull up my my Spotify, my Christian playlist, my worship playlist. Most recently, who've been some of my people? Underrated guy. You've probably never heard of this guy. He's from the Southern Baptist Seminary in New Orleans. His name is Andrew Belmore. He has a song called Not My Own. Andrew Belmore is really good. Some of the more Red Crescent City Worship, same thing. I'm scrolling through my playlist, and really, I'm just like kind of a throwback guy. Like, Give Me Faith by Elevation Worship, Even So Come by Christian Stanfill and Passion. There's Skillet. There's Hillsong, which that's a whole, like, Hillsong, Bethel, Elevation, all of them, music-wise, is a whole conversation. What a God by SEU Worship. To be honest, like, from the past, like, this past year, I really haven't ventured far out besides Corey Asbury, Josiah Queen. There's a guy named Caleb King. He's pretty solid. Crescent City Worship, Andrew Belmore, Holvey, OG songs. Death Was Arrested is on here. Like, that's really what I've been listening to this last year. It's kind of just OG stuff and the newer things by Holvey and some of the young artists out right now. And so, here's how I'll end the episode. If you view Spotify and you got your Spotify Wrapped, drop it down in the comments, kind of the music you listen to, and leave your opinion on what your belief on listening to secular worship. The whole point of this conversation was to literally talk about, is it okay to listen to secular music? Because I think what your opinion on that is really, I think for some people it's important to their witness. Like the whole thing earlier about, like, how are you going to understand a culture, or how are you going to talk to and witness to a culture that you don't understand? And so, really for me, I think, yeah, you should start listening to some of the pure, like, good, genuine, like, not straight, immoral, secular songs out there, just to, like, know what's going on, just to see, like, just see what music is in culture now. And really, some of those people that have always been like the pure lovey-dovey songs, sometimes going haywire, like Taylor Swift and her new album. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and if you enjoyed it, drop a like and a comment, subscribe, all the things. And yeah, I'll see you in episode 6 whenever it comes out. Peace.